we start with not to be skipped. Here we go. LeBron's Lakers have turned into fakers at exactly the worst time for LeBron and his legacy. Because as I just mentioned, dropping on HBO Sunday night is Winning Time, the story of Magic Johnson's rise, the Lakers' rise through the 1980s, the Showtime Lakers. And unfortunately for LeBron, Laker Nation is going to take a long look at that as it airs weekly on HBO. And just like the documentary of 2 years ago, The Last Dance, as people started to compare Jordan in more detail to LeBron, and LeBron lost in every way, shape, and form as that documentary aired, Laker Nation is going to take one look at Winning Time and say, wait a second. They had that in the 80s, and we're stuck with this now? You are stuck. Thanks in largest part to LeBron James. And my biggest takeaway, after 3 straight home Laker losses out of the All-Star break, that unless Anthony Davis can suddenly give them a huge boost down the stretch, and I have my doubts about that, this team is in grave danger of missing the playoffs completely, as in miss the play-in tournament, the thing that last year LeBron said, whoever thought that thing up should be fired. Well, wait a second, LeBron, without that thing, you very well could be out of the playoffs completely, and you might even miss that thing. Do you realize the Lakers have the hardest remaining schedule in the NBA? And the harder I look at the closing games, the last 20-odd games, the more I say, I just don't know. Can they win 2 of them or 3 of them? Maybe 5 of them? Could AD save the day in ways he never has been able to before with his low motor that runs more cold than hot? I look at this and I say, wait a second. They're only 2 games up on New Orleans, who just the other day beat them by 28 at the Crypt, as I call it, what used to be Staples. Beat them by 28 without Zion. They're only up 2 on them, 2 on Portland, which has gotten reasonably hot, obviously without Dame. And after trading away half of its roster and rebuilding, retooling on the fly. But wait a second. I see one upcoming stretch at San Antonio, at Houston, and then back home for Washington. And I say, shouldn't LeBron James be able to win those 3 games in a row? Yeah, he should, but I doubt he will. I'm looking at the Lakers trailing the Clippers by 4.5, 5 games. And the Clippers don't have Kawhi and don't have Paul George. You're kidding. This is the first time, and I hate to say this because you know how much I love talking about LeBron James. You know how important he is as the face of not only this franchise, but of the league to this moment. He is still that guy off the court in stature, in legacy, in aura, in magnitude, but not on the court anymore. This is the first time I've seen Father Time tap LeBron on the shoulder. Father Time is taking his toll on LeBron. And I didn't think I'd ever see that from Iron Man. He's just not the same anymore. This is the first time I have seen him age right before our very closing, cringing eyes. This LeBron is starting to look more like Michael Jordan at age 39 and 40 when he played in Washington for the Wizards. The Michael who came out of retirement of 3 long years to play ceremonially for the Wizards averaged 20 and 6. Look, LeBron's having, you could argue, the greatest scoring year of a year 19 ever at age 37. He's still got a shot. He's still less than a full point away from Embiid for the scoring title. He's third in the league. Could he catch Embiid, pass Giannis, obviously, for second? Yeah, he could. But that's all LeBron's about now, is trying to get his 30 and losing. Because I've said from the start, the man was born without a clutch gene, and now that is more glaring than ever. I'm looking at LeBron's name, and I think, his new legal title should be LeBron Ramon James Sr. CC, as in C period, C period, at the end of his name, which stands for can't close. LeBron has always struggled to close, and now he is a disaster on the order of Westbrook when LeBron, tries to close. I think Carmelo, at age 37, in his year 19, could be a better closer than LeBron, but obviously, mostly the ball is going to be in the King's hands, the phony goat's hands, and the phony goat is failing miserably down the stretch of game after game after game. I'm sorry. The harder I look, the less I see from LeBron in the clutch. And let's go back, 2 games ago, there was the Clipper game. At home, down the stretch, a game that was begging to be won by the quote-unquote home team, which that night was the Lakers. And and I know what happened. In fact, a close friend of mine texted me, I'm going to preserve his name, protect his name, but he texted me and said, LeBron's going to make a walk-off shot. He's a huge LeBron fan. You know him, and I'm not going to say his name. He said in a text, he jinxed himself. This is the ultimate jinx text. Watch LeBron make a walk-off shot. So LeBron has the ball in his hands against the Clippers, the dreaded, hated Clippers. No Kawhi, no Paul George. And what does LeBron do? They're down 1 with a few seconds left. Just drive it, just attack. And he waits a beat until the double team starts to come to him, and then he gives up the ball to Melo. You know what happened? Melo was like shocked, like, wait, you want me to shoot it? And Melo did what only he knows to do at this point, which is shoot threes, and he goes up and shoots a quick 3, sort of a short arm 3 that was woefully short. Lakers had one more chance to close the game. LeBron had the ball in the corner. It was a tough shot, a fadeaway 3, nearly airballed it. But the point is, with 10 seconds left, all he has to do is just attack. Nobody can stop him. He still can play bully ball at age 37 like nobody in the league can. He runs from the late game free throw line. I talked last week about that. I won't dwell on it this week, but he just wanted no part of getting fouled, having to go to the line and make 1 free throw to tie and 2 to win. He's just not going to do it because he's, by his standards, by superstar standards, a pathetic free throw shooter. And in general, a pathetic 3-point shooter. So what happened against Dallas? They fell behind against Dallas by 21 in the second quarter. That is just unacceptable. And I thought, okay, this is finally the end of Frank Vogel. Finally, it's over. They have to change something, and they can't fire LeBron, and they certainly can't fire Westbrook, and they can't fire Melo. Surely this is going to be the end of Frank Vogel because somebody has to pay for this. Somebody has to go. And what happened? They roar out of the locker room at halftime and played the best defense they played all year in the second half. And LeBron James hit one of his rare hot streaks from 3. He makes the first one. He takes a second one from the logo, and voila, look what he found. It went in. LeBron made a logo 3. Go look at the stats of LeBron shooting logo 3s in his career. It's atrocious. But he made one, and now he is cooking. And he takes the third one from the wing, and he holds the pose and he hops it off. He's one-legged hopping backwards, holding the pose. He's got it. And it goes in. That's 3 straight threes from LeBron James, who came into the game ranked 97th of 157 three-point shooters in the league. So he's in the lower third of three-point shooters, 35%. It's pretty pathetic by his standards. But he will hit, as you know, a rare hot streak. And I immediately live tweeted, got to do it in the fourth quarter. We need 3 more of those from LeBron in the fourth quarter. And you know and I know what was about to happen. LeBron was about to miss both of his threes in the fourth quarter because he disappears in the fourth. Winning time, Magic's time, has become disappearing time for LeBron down the stretch. So here we go. Lakers up 2 going to the fourth. Lakers up 6 with 7 minutes remaining. And here's the untold story, because I saw nobody leap upon this. Forgive me, but I'm going to tell you the truth about what happened down the stretch of this game. If you give the king in his building a 6-point lead with 7 minutes left, with all the momentum, don't you think he should close that? Shouldn't he finish that off? Yeah, you know he should. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.